would take me months to tell the history behind what led to the revolution. But I will just brief you with the story I know best, which is my story. Early January, I was depressed. All I was thinking about was immigration, finding opportunities outside of Egypt. I couldn't walk in the streets of Egypt without being humiliated, without finding piles of garbage everywhere. This general air of passiveness and frustration at the same time. When I found the group, We Are All Khaled Said, as you all know, Khaled Said is a 23-year-old that was brutally beaten to death last June by police officers. The event was called Revolution, as inspired by the Tunisian events that happened in January. We all didn't think it would be a revolution. In fact, a lot of people started spreading jokes about spreading a revolution or starting a revolution through Facebook. That made me angry, and that actually pushed me to go down to protest on January 25th. The protest that would become my the first day of my new life, and the first day of Egypt's new life. I was shocked to find 20,000 people in Tahrir Square, but we were welcomed by bricks and tear gas, expired tear gas, rubber bullets, water cannons. It was a 12-hour battle that we lost physically, but we won something greater than life. We won hope. We won the concrete base that helped us to go on, that is helping us go on today. Later on, January 28th, when the government blocked all internet access and cell phone connections, it was difficult to think that people would go down to protest. But people would watch us from balconies, seeing millions march to Tahrir Square, and would join us after seeing us screaming at them, "Ya Ahlan, which means our families, please join us." There were so many battles that day, but the one battle that I can never forget is Asr Nil Bridge battle. When there were thousands of people on the bridge, they were starting to pray the afternoon prayers when the police started attacking brutally, causing a stampede. I fell in the stampede, and I was chased by 2 police officers with sticks. Thankfully, my brother saved me by carrying me away from the police officers, but he was beaten in the process. We were going back to a safe house to call our parents via a home phone, and we felt that we lost the battle. But we were welcomed from the other side by millions coming fresh from Giza. Millions ready to fight and to continue the battle. And that is when I knew that it was a revolution, and there were no steps backwards from there. That day, the police retreated, but only after Habib al-Adli, former Minister of Interior, asked the police to release the prisoners. 20,000 prisoners were released, and paid thugs started looting and robbing homes and killing civilians. I think Habib al-Adli was really depressed when he found out that what he did caused this revolutionary teamwork spirit in Egypt. I was part of my 24-hour neighborhood patrol. All day I would be in Tahrir Square, and all night I would be on my roof with binoculars watching for any looters and Molotov cocktails that I made. Tahrir on some days would be this political festival. People from all ages, all backgrounds, all political affiliations, having debates, making jokes, standing together hand in hand, seriously, just embracing our differences. On other days, Tahrir would be a war zone. Tahrir was not only my second home, but it was my school. It's still my school. I now know how to be an electrician, a plumber. I know how to build barricades, break bricks, and how to form a makeshift hospital. Day 17, February 10th, 2011, when Mubarak was late, 6 hours late to the longest and most condescending speech he made, that frustrated us all and pushed everyone, hundreds of protesters, to go to the presidential palace, even though they knew that the presidential guard would have the right to use live ammunition against them. That day, I had a fight with my parents. I told them I am not coming home until Mubarak leaves. I was determined. Once you taste freedom, you cannot go back to where you were. The Tunisian poet and Shabi said some words that inspired the Tunisians and inspired me then, and we're not more clear. We're so clear at this point. إذا الشعب يوما أراد الحياة فلا بد أن يستجيب القدر. Meaning, if one day the people decide to live, then destiny has no other choice but to comply. And that's what happened. We celebrated for 12 hours. Everyone was in the streets celebrating. I get goosebumps whenever I remember this. The next day, however, we went down to clean the streets and start painting. All the Egyptians I know, including myself, are now part of initiatives, one or more, to rebuild Egypt. We now feel ownership. We now feel that we have what we demanded: dignity, freedom, and social justice. Egypt is now defining these words. Egypt is now not defined by the ancient history that was made 7,000 years ago. It is now defined by the history that's being made now. So, I wish you all Egypt. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you very much indeed for that. I think you brought across two good things. I mean, one is the immense enthusiasm and the commitment. And one thing you said struck me, which is that once you've tasted freedom, you can't go back. And I think those together characterize what we've all been watching, and watching with, I think, a lot of emotion, a lot of support. An old friend of mine in the Egyptian telephoned me in the middle of things, and he said, you know, I just caught myself wandering around humming the national anthem. And this is a man of not inconsiderable cynicism. But I think there's this quality about what's been going on.